Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Wattaqullah. Innallaha khabirum bima ta'malun. Fear Allah. Surely Allah is aware of all your actions. Allah से डरते रहो. Allah तुम्हारे सब अमाल से बाखबर है. Assalamu alaikum bio class 103 Al Khanpur. I am your bio lecturer Kiran Yunus, praying that Allah Almighty remove all arrogance and selfishness from our heart and teach us to be humble. Let's start last lecture of chapter number 25, ecosystem. In this lecture we are going to talk about energy flow in ecosystems. Energy flow in ecosystem is same as the flow of matter in an ecosystem that we discussed in detail in one of our previous lectures of food chain and food web. In a food chain, food which provides energy is transferred from one trophic level to another. In the same way, the energy is used and conveyed from one trophic level to another. This process is called as flow of energy. Studies of various food chains show the energy available at each successive level is 10% of the previous level. It is very important to understand the energy stored in producers. When it is available to the herbivore, it will be the 10% of stored energy in the producers, and the energy available to carnivore is 10% to that energy that is available to the herbivore. This is called as 10% law. We discuss this 10% law in detail with this illustration. In the given illustration, 1000 joule of energy is available to the plants from the sun. Keep it in mind, it is very important MCQs, that how much energy is harvested by the plants that they had available from the sun. It is only 1% energy that is transferred into chemical energy by the producers. That this process may be a photosynthesis or a chemosynthesis process, but only 1% of the sunlight or radiation energy is converted into chemical energy. Remaining 99% of energy is lost, and it is used to evaporate water, heat up soil, or then of course lost to the outer space. Note the 99% of the 1000 joule energy becomes the 990 joule that lost it to the environment, and remaining 10% is stored in the plant as food. This 10% is available to the next trophic level, herbivore, and 10% of the 10 joule, that is 1%, is stored energy, and of course 90% energy is lost to the environment in the form of heat after meeting the respiratory needs of herbivore. The 1 joule of energy that is stored as food in the herbivore is available next to the carnivore as food. Look here, if you note that the flow of energy is a unidirectional process, in a biosphere, and the energy enter in this ecosystem, or you can say that in the living component from non-living environment through the photosynthesis, as I discussed in our first step of the food chain. The radiant energy of sun converted into chemical energy is never converted back into radiant energy. Note it very carefully. I said that the radiant energy of sun converted into chemical energy is never converted back into radiant energy, but it is lost to the outer space. And of course, in which form it is lost to the outer space? In the heat, in the form of heat. It is emitted to the atmosphere, and in the form of heat at every step, at every link, at every trophic level of the food chain, it is emitted in the form of heat. And how much it is emitted? It is emitted about 80 to 90%. That is also a very important MCQs, that how much energy is lost in the form of heat. It is about 80 to 90% of original energy that is lost as heat as byproduct of respiration. Flow of energy in an ecosystem then we can define as energy in the form of radiant heat and light from the sun flows through an ecosystem passing through the different trophic levels and radiates again back into outer space. Here is very important definition: gross primary production. The total amount of energy fixed by plants is gross primary production. The total amount of heat and the total amount of energy. Then the amount of energy left after plants have met their respiratory needs is net primary production, NPP. If you think, then a gross primary production is 1%, that is they harvest from the sun, and after meeting their needs, when we take or when we get the energy of the producers as 100%, then it is only 10% that is stored in the plant, and that energy is known as net primary production, which shows up as plant biomass. Another very important definition: what is plant biomass? And you can say that biomass is how much the living material we have at a specific time is called as biomass. We discuss it in detail with this illustration. Note here, only 1% of sun's energy is harvested by the producers, and then when we start from the producers, let's say that 100% producers get, and only 10% of this goes to the next level. Remaining 90% is lost in the form of heat energy that then goes to the outer space. And from this 10%, then again 1% goes to the next level, to the decomposers level, and again 90% is lost as heat energy. The mineral elements, the feces, and the recycled products that found by the death and decay of these consumers, or you can say that producer or consumers, or the part of this food chain recycled on the earth. We discussed all this recycling process in detail in our previous lecture. Next we are going to discuss the energy flow through the trophic level. It is very important according to the examination point of view, as energy transferred from one trophic level to the next trophic level, or you can say that from producers to the consumers, or you can say that primary consumer, 80 to 90% of original energy is lost as heat as byproduct or respiration. Then there is a decrease of 10%. Note from here, energy at each trophic level from 1 million kilocalories of sunlight per meter square per yard. Only harvested energy is 10,000 per meter kilocalories per meter square per yard, and 10,000 is 1% of the 1 million kilocalories. As I said that only 1% of energy is harvested by plants or other, you can say that producers. Remaining 99% energy is radiated back. So 1% is 10,000 kilocalories per meter square per yard. And from this 10,000, the primary consumer, that is a grasshopper in this example, have only 10%, and this 10% is 1,000 kilocalories per meter square per yard. From this 10% goes to the next level, the secondary consumer, and this 10% loss becomes to the 100 kilocalories per meter square per yard. And from this 10% goes to the next level, tertiary consumer, towards a snack, that becomes only 10 kilocalories per meter square per yard. Note here at each and every step from the producer towards the consumers, 10% energy is transferred from one trophic level to the next, and 90% energy is lost it in the form of heat. As at each step the energy is decreased from lower bottom to the upper bottom, so we can represent it as in the form of a pyramid, as you see here, in the form of a pyramid of energy, where you know that the number of phytoplankton in the last bar is higher than the number of zooplankton and worms, and the yielded energy is decreased from lower to the upper part of the pyramid. It is an upright pyramid, and the energy that decreased in this pyramid is lost in the form of heat. As you see here, at every step energy is lost in the form of heat and decreased from lower to the upper part. It is an upright pyramid. So next we are going to discuss stability of ecosystem. On the basis of flow of energy, a short food chain of 2 to 3 links support a community more efficiently than a food chain of 5 links, where much of the original energy from the producers would never reach to the organisms at higher level, as we discussed in our previous examples. If the food chain is of 2 to 3 links, then it is more efficient. But if we go toward, if the food chain becomes longer than the first one, then the energy that reach from the producers is very less in quantity towards the last step or towards the last bar of the food chain. So stability of ecosystem depends on the short food chains. This is the way I finished the lesson. Best of luck. Fi amanillah.